Hello friends, how are you all? Hope in a very good health. Friends, today we are going to show you a video about a very interesting topic. Today's video is about the different meals, or you can say the different last meals of murderers or criminals before they were executed. So let's go to our video. Name Stephen Michael Woods Jr. Born 1980, died August 21st, 2002. Classification: murderer. Victim profile: murderers of Ronald Whitehead 21 and Bethany Broads 19. So the crime that Stephen Michael Woods Jr. committed was he murdered a young couple. And even after many appeals and being backed by some popular non-profit media organizations, he was executed. The last meal that he ordered in his death row was a huge one. His meal consisted of 2 pounds of bacon, a large 4-meat pizza, 4 fried chicken breasts, 2 drinks each of Mountain Dew, Pepsi, root beer, and sweet tea, 2 pints of ice cream, 5 chicken fried steaks, 2 hamburgers with bacon, fries, and a dozen garlic breadsticks with marinara on the side. Well, that's a lot, right? Name Marion Albert Pruitt. Born 1949, died September 9th, 1982. Classification: murderer. Victim profile: Pamela Sue Barker, Peggy Lou, James R. Balderson, Anthony Tate, and Bobby Jean. The crime that Marion Albert Pruitt was convicted of was he killed Bobby Jean Robertson, a convenience store clerk in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and 4 other people. In his last meal, he ordered hot stuffed crust pizza, 4 Burger King Whoppers, French fries, fried eggplant, fried squash, fried okra, a whole pecan pie, a 3-4 liter Pepsi bottles. Remarkably, he originally considered ordering a roast duck. Name Dennis Bagwell. Born 1962, died February 17, 2005. Classification: murderer. Victim profile: Leona McVeigh, Tacy Boone, Libby Best, Reba. Dennis Bagwell invaded the Texas home of Ronald Boone, who returned home to find the bodies of his wife Leona McVeigh, his daughter Libby Best, and his granddaughters Reba Best and Tacy Boone. According to reports, McVeigh and Tacy had been beaten and strangled, necks broken, and Tacy was raped. Libby was shot in the head and Reba's skull was crushed with a hammer and a metal exercise bar. Such a criminal he was, right? Yet, he ordered a gigantic meal during his death row, which was steak, fried chicken, barbecue ribs, fries, onion rings, bacon, a dozen scrambled eggs. Now, who orders a dozen eggs in the death row? Well, he did. He ordered a dozen scrambled eggs with onions, fried taters with onions, sliced tomatoes, a salad with ranch dressing, 2 hamburgers with everything, peach pie, milk and coffee, and iced tea with real sugar. Name Thomas J Grasso. Born 1962, died March 20, 1995. Classification: murderer. Victim profile: Hilda Johnson. Thomas J Grasso was executed because of his crime of strangling an elderly woman using her own Christmas lights and sold her television. He then murdered an elderly male and stole his social security check. The last meal of his death row was 2 dozen steamed mussels, 2 dozen steamed clams, a double cheeseburger from Burger King, half dozen barbecue spare ribs, 2 strawberry milkshakes, half a pumpkin pie with whipped cream with diced strawberries, and a 16-ounce can of spaghetti with meat balls. 16 ounce? Oh my good lord. And also the interesting part is that he later complained, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs, I got canned spaghetti." I want the press to know this. Name Robert Alton Harris. Born 1953, died April 21st, 1992. Classification murderer. Victim profile John Maskey and Michael Baker, 16. Robert Alton Harris was executed because he killed two innocent teenage boys who were in a Jack in the Box parking lot. His last words were, "You can be a king on a street sweeper, but everybody dances with the Grim Reaper." The last meal that he ordered was a 21-piece bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, 2 large Domino's pizzas, ice cream, a bag of jelly beans, a 6-pack of Pepsi, and a pack of Camel cigarettes. Name Ronnie Lee Gardner. Born 1961, died June 18, 2010. Classification murderer. Victim profile killed a man during a robbery, killed an attorney. He got life in prison for the first, then the death penalty for the second. His last meal was also an interesting one. He ordered lobster tail, steak, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and 7-Up while watching Lord of the Rings. Name John Wayne Gacy. Born 1942, died May 10, 1994. Classification murderer. Victim profile 33 plus. John Wayne Gacy assaulted, murdered, and raped 33 young boys, 26 of whom he kept buried in his backyard. He is most famous for dressing up as a clown, solidifying many people's existing fears. The last meal that he ordered was a fried shrimp, a bucket of KFC original recipe fries, chicken, and a pound of strawberries. Name Ronald Clark O'Brien. Born 1944, died March 31, 1984. Classification murderer. Victim profile son Timothy and daughter Elizabeth. Ronald Clark O'Brien was executed in the year 1984. Now he is the reason your parents always checked your candy on Halloween. He killed his 8-year-old son with cyanide-laced candy. He handed out 4 other cyanide-laced pixie sticks, though his poor son was the only casualty. He killed his own child in order to cash out a life insurance policy. At last, before his death, he wanted to have T-bone steak, fries with ketchup, whole kernel corn, sweet peas, a lettuce and tomato salad with egg, and French dressing, iced tea, sweetener, saltiness, Boston cream pie, and rolls. Name William Bonin. Born 1947, died February 23, 1996. Classification serial killer. Victim profile 14 convictions, 21 to 36 plus suspected. The most freeway killer, he tortured, raped, and killed at least 21 boys. He would get male sex workers, young hitchhikers, and schoolboys into his truck and rape them, torture them, then brutally murder them, often using their own t-shirt to strangle them. His meal before his death row was like a fast food sort. He ordered 2 pepperoni and sausage pizzas, 3 servings of chocolate ice cream, and 3 6-packs of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Named Stephen Wynn Anderson. Born 1953, died January 29, 2002. Classification contract killer. Victim profile 7 plus. Stephen Wynn Anderson was executed for the murder of Elizabeth Lehman. He admitted to the killings of at least 8 other people, including a fellow inmate, and at least 7 contract killings. He wished to have 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, a pint of cottage cheese, a corn mixture, peach pie, chocolate chip ice cream, and radishes. Named Ted Bundy. Born 1946, died January 24, 1989. Classification serial killer. Victim profile 30 confessed, total unconfirmed. Ted Bundy was indeed a vicious serial killer. He was convicted of kidnapping, raping, and murdering numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. Before his execution, he confessed to 30 homicides that he committed in 7 states between 1974 and 1978. Well, for his last meal, he did not wish to have any, so he was given the usual Florida death row meal of steak, eggs, hash brown, toast with butter, jelly juice, coffee, and milk. Named Timothy McVeigh, born 1968, died June 11, 2001, classification murderer, victim profile 168. Timothy McVeigh, who was executed in 2001, was an American domestic terrorist who carried out the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing that killed 168 people and injured more than 680 others. It also destroyed 1/3 of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. Before his death, he wished to have 2 pins of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Well, that was a simple one. Named John Martin Scripps, born 1959, died 19th April 1996, classification murderer, victim profile 3 to 6, 3 confirmed, 3 unconfirmed. John Martin Scripps was dubbed the tourist from hell by British tabloids because he posed as a tourist. He went on a spree, murdering 3 tourists, Gerard Low in Singapore and Sheila and Darin Damoon in Thailand, with another 3 unconfirmed victims. He cut up all his victims' bodies using butchery skills he had acquired in prison before disposing of them. His last meal was also a simple one, we can say, which was pizza and hot chocolate. Named Lawrence Brewer, born 1967, died September 23, 1999, classification murderer, victim profile James Byard Jr., 49, a black man. Lawrence Brewer had been convicted of murdering James Byard Jr. in a vicious hate crime in 1998 in Jasper, Texas, in which he and 2 other men dragged Byard behind a truck until he was decapitated. So after ordering his extravagant final meal, Brewer refused to eat it. Well, do you know what his final meal consisted of? He wanted to have 2 chicken fried steaks with gravy and onions, 1 triple patty bacon cheeseburger, an omelette with cheese, ground beef, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers and jalapenos, fried okra with ketchup, a pound of barbecued meat with a half loaf of white bread, 3 fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, a pint of Blue Bell ice cream, peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts, 3 root beers. Can you imagine that? Can a person eat all that, especially before his death row? Well, Brewer refused to eat any of it. He was executed by lethal injection shortly thereafter. In part because of Brewer's decision not to eat, Texas no longer offers specially prepared last meals to death row inmates. According to Reuters, most states still do. It was surprisingly easy to reverse the policy, which was instituted in 1924. All it took was a letter to the state prison officials from State Senator John Whitmore. He wrote, "Whitmore argued that Brewer's decision to order such a lavish meal only to eat none of it was a statement, a final act of control over the prison system." Whitmore did not reply to requests for comment. That act complicates the last meal convention. Do death row inmates deserve a tradition of this kind? And where did it come from? So friends, we hope that you liked our video. If you did, then please write in our comment box to support us. And let us know what topics do you want to see in our next videos. So for today, bye-bye.